Also received it for Lincoln for the first year. And I tell you, those awards don't come easily. It all boils down to taking care of the customers and having the vehicles you want in stock for you to buy.
The following is a paid program that does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah! You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you live from Berners Cigar Studio. Berners is the home of fine premium cigars and fine cigar smokers. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good in Berners. Please go by their 2 locations in Birkdale Village and also on Highway 16 in Denver. And a third one is on the way.
Awesome.
We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. This is 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and you are listening to Local Biz Now. We have been going strong for over 11 years. We have over 867 interviews with small business owners and community leaders. We have well over 675 interviews that are on the tubes. You can go by Joe Vagnone Business Broker YouTube and watch all of those. We are also live on the book, live on the tubes, live on the X, live on any kind of podcast that you want to. I follow the book here on Facebook. If you want to go to WSIC Facebook and be part of the show, just go ahead and type something in, and I'll do my best to get you to follow along as well. Thank you so much for listening. Every month I have to have a co-host to keep this thing together. This month I'm cursed.
Oh my, that's rough. That's rough.
Even as I was saying it, I started laughing. James Sanders, those of you that know me know he's a dear friend of mine. James is the founder and president of Shared Resources, Technology, and Solutions. James has been on the show many times. James, my friend, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
I am grateful to be here. Thank you.
So, Julie, she kind of tactfully likes to schedule the show, and she has brought on my partner, which, by the way, just officially, it will be 10 years that I have been with Jeff Snell and ENLIGN Business Advisors. We're going to bring him in sooner than later onto the show. And I know Julie did that today for you because his background is IT as well. So we won't just have one person with a big brain on the show. We're going to have 2 people with a big brain on the show.
Well, I look forward to talking to him and seeing his opinion of you.
We're going to try and hold that back as much as we can. Like I said, he's known me for over 10 years now.
I know. That's why I'm saying.
So before we get to Jeff,
yes,
let's remind everybody what a Shared Resources Technology Solutions is all about.
So we are a managed service provider, which means that we take care of small businesses that don't have a department large enough to have their own IT people. And we do that in such a way that small businesses get the same care and attention as enterprise businesses.
So we talked about this. You've been doing this over 25 years.
I have been doing it over 25 years. My company celebrates the 25th, January 1st.
So I tell this story. I know you're tired of hearing it, but it defines you in our relationship, right? Many years ago, I ran for town council. Now, you have to understand that when I ran for town council, I went up to my friend and I asked him, hey, what do you think about me running for town council? He said to me, Joe, I think I'd be great, but there's going to be a really large learning curve. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, like maybe you should go to the town hall one time. Right. So anyways, during my campaign, I had this great concept, which is Wi-Fi for everybody in Cornelius.
All the way
right?
across the board, yes.
And I went to the town. At the time, you were doing the town's IT work.
That's correct.
And I ask you this question, is this possible? Is this something we could do? And you took me very seriously, and you did detailed research on it to find out whether this was a possible solution instead of just poo-pooing me away and shoo me out the door.
I loved the idea. You kidding me? That'd be great. I still love that idea, right? Imagine how much money we're spending, all of us are spending on internet connectivity. If if the government could provide it in such a way that we could all get our work done and not have that expense, that'd be awesome.
Well,
still.
The fact that you and I connected off that,
yes,
and the fact that I ran for office many, many years ago shows how long of a friendship we have had as well,
yes,
James.
Yes. Now when people come to me and say that they're running for office, my first question is, what's wrong at home? Why would you do that?
That's right. So anyway, so I tell you that, the listeners out there, so you know, James and I have a history together that goes back a long way. So what I want to do is I want to introduce my my partner because he's an IT guy as well.
All right.
So when you go into talking about some education from the stuff you bring from the Google, we can let Jeff be a part of that because he might be able to carry some water for me when we start talking about that as well. So we're going to change up a little bit.
I welcome an informed and intelligent question on this show.
That's right. We're gonna get that from Jeff. So if I could do that, Jeff, if you're here, buddy, I am talking with Jeff Snell. He is the founder of ENLIGN Advisors. Jeff, can you hear me okay, buddy?
I can hear you fine.
Jeff, thanks for doing this, my friend. I really do appreciate it.
Of course.
So
go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sure Julie asked you to be on the show because she knew James was going to be here and he was going to want to talk IT talk. And, you know, I get bored when we start talking about IT talk. So she figured you could carry some water for me on that. And I'm sure you'll be able to do that as well.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be bored. I think you'll be lost.
So before we get there,
Jeff, I also have a lot of questions about mergers and acquisitions, and I've never gotten a good answer from Joe. So I look forward to asking you some of those also.
Jeff, be careful. We are going to talk about the brokerage business. It's going to be a test. He's going to pit us against each other. So just be prepared for that. It's coming. All right. Just be warned. But before we get there, tell everybody about ENLIGN Advisors and exactly what it is you've created.
I appreciate that opportunity. So ENLIGN Advisors is a lower middle market and Main Street business advisory transaction firm. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. As everyone and your listeners know, Joe's down in Charlotte. We cover all of the Carolinas, Virginia, South Carolina, and have affiliates really across the country through the Atlas Alliance Network. As Joe said, we have been affiliated for 10 years, and I don't know if he or I should be sanctioned for that, but it has gone on for that long. And I have to be honest, while I joke about it, I have enjoyed my relationship with Joe. He is a great broker, and he will not say this on this platform, but Joe is known as the Walmart of business brokerage. And the way he breaks that down, which I thought was incredible messaging and marketing.
Jeff, let's we got to take a break. When we come back, you're going to define why Joe Vagnone is the Walmart of the business brokerage business. You are listening.
Take me that much time to figure it out.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. We'll be right back. Okay, so Jeff, what you don't get to hear is the seconds that are ticking off. Just so you know, the next break is at 7:30. I'm sorry, 4:30.
It's like, I'm going to have to send you an invoice for that much time.
So every 15 minutes is a hard break, just so you know.
Yeah, no problem.
Got it. So we come back. Let's let Jeff talk just a little bit more
Absolutely,
about Inline.
yes.
Okay. And
we're live on Facebook right now, right?
oh yeah, Jeff, I'm sorry. Thanks, Jeff.
That's all right.
just so you know, we keep running live on Facebook, even
That's
though
the way to watch then.
even though the radio is on commercial, we are live on Facebook.
So,
I'm sorry for those viewers.
your initial.
We did this years ago as a mistake, and people really liked it. Julie said, "Just keep it running. Go ahead."
Yeah.
So if Jeff's in Raleigh and you're in Charlotte, that probably explains how you two get along so
No doubt
well
about
for
it.
10 years. There's a geographical space between the two
Hey,
of
well,
you. So
to James's point, Joe, how many times have we physically been in the same space? I want to say it's twice. Once the first
wow,
time,
that
think
is
twice.
awesome.
I think.
and
twice.
then when I came down
Yeah.
and visited you and
Yeah.
Julie at your office.
Yes, that's right. That's
But
right.
I agree with
think-
James.
I think it's been twice.
That is great. Yeah,
Joe
that's
is
a
a-
good.
Joe is a relationship that you want to keep at about arm's length.
That's right.
About a 3-hour difference.
Close enough to jerk towards you when you need to, but close enough you can shove him away.
All right, guys.
And really, all the stuff that I'm beating him up about, he could beat me up about. But
Gotcha. They gave us a 1-minute notice that we'll be back on the air in just a moment. So
No. Listen, the new modern day business works for me, right? Which is just enough space.
remote worker, and I'm on the radio instead.
Yeah. James, if Joe was doing this at home, I would ask him to stand up because I'd bet you $100 he's not wearing pants.
I believe
30
it.
seconds.
I believe it.
Tickets available online only at
His shirt is untucked.
redbus.com. While supplies last.
Nobody needs
But
to know
that is a really nice shirt, though. I'm almost envious of it. Beautiful shirt.
Download the WSIC News app.
I think that's probably off the sale rack at JCPenney's about 2 decades ago. But okay,
All
I'll
right,
go
guys.
with
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina. This is Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with two of my friends. James Sanders, whether he will admit it or not, is a friend of mine and founder and owner of Shared Resources Technology, and my partner for over 10 years. I've been affiliated, associated, and as much as he would allow me to be, Jeff Snell, founder of ENLIGN Business Advisors. Jeff, you were getting ready to define Joe Vagnone as a business broker. It's funny that you say that because Julie hates when I say it, but I really believe I am the Walmart of the business brokerage firm. Go ahead and take it from there.
Well, I will continue the conversation. Joe's, all joking aside, is a fantastic broker. His volume production and his client reviews, they're pretty much unmatched. So he's an expert. He's a pro. But on the slightly humorous side, when he says that he's the Walmart of business brokerage, Julie follows that up with a comment that makes me smile and smirk every time, which is, if Joe can't sell it, nobody wants it. And, it took a decade for me to be able to admit this. This is the first time, but I think she's right. If Joe can't sell it, nobody wants it.
And Jeff, I get a lot of phone calls from other brokers because they don't want to sell it, right? So,
I got it.
That's
or
right.
they know they can't.
That's right. That's right.
You
That's right.
Well, I'm going to be nice for a moment, but don't think it's going to continue. Joe has an innate ability to bring people together on terms, conditions in very difficult situations, on transactions that are not the easiest. And he revels in it. So good for you, Joe. Love the partnership and the friendship. But that's as nice as I'm going to be.
So, and the truth is, Jeff, we've talked about this before. Matter of fact, Jeff called me a shark, right? And I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he said, well, shark keeps moving, and he's right. Julie and I are constantly churning, right? We're just constantly moving forward. and bringing in as much as we can. And sooner or later, we're going to put two people together and create these deals.
Oh, I get your emails.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're
I like
exactly
'em.
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Jeff
Yeah,
and
I had to increase my email capacity.
That's
for all-
right.
That's right.
So one of the
Please
things,
buy this business. Please buy this business.
Jeff, one of the things you and I talked about is, and you have said this to me, Joe, some of these deals that I put together, these small, $150,000 small business deals are more time consuming and complicated than the $5 million, $10 million deals that you're doing. There really is a difference between the two, either experienced buyers and an experienced seller and inexperienced people trying to do a transaction. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that. I think that the transactions that you're completing, and I don't mean this to be humorous, are almost a public service because you're allowing people to transact in the Main Street market that in many cases, and I think you'll agree, the seller, your client, would have no other option than to close. And that's a sad ending to any effort in a business ownership experience. So I said I wasn't going to be nice to you, but you do a really good job. And it's absolutely true. If I had phones on my desk, which I don't, everything is cellular. But if I had two phones on my desk and one phone rang and the caller ID said $10 million opportunity, and the other phone rang and said $500,000 opportunity, you know which one I would answer.
Yeah.
But you would probably answer both and figure out how to get them both. But you would
Well, no, I send the 10 million to you.
Well, as a company, we're going to take care of everybody.
That's right.
Joe, I love this guy already. That was a great, yes. Love it.
So Jeff, let's talk a little bit because I don't do this very often, right? Which is talk about my primary. That's right. Talk about my primary business, right? Which is I sell small businesses. My area of expertise is small businesses that have gross sales of 5 million or less. And I probably do 80% that are $1 million or less in sales. And your numbers would be the exact opposite. You're much higher into the spectrum. Tell me what the market looks like for you. What do you see happening with transactions on the small business side?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. It's coincidental that my name came up with Julie to rotate back on the show. I'm grateful for that. But there's real material change in the marketplace, in my opinion, in the last 6 months. That's probably being generous. It might even be 3 months. I'm finding that lending has gotten very tight. Lenders that previously, could digest a unique situation with a client and move forward are now pounding me on issues that, to me, are self-evident. So we have challenges in the lending market. Overall, macro level, of course, we all know there's inflation, there's high interest rates, we're in an election cycle, and normally our industry would be dead. I think Joe mentioned the company was founded a little over 20 years ago. We've been through .com crash, we've been through subprime, we've been through COVID, we've been through obviously all the election cycles during that period. And the trend that developed was right now should be absolutely dead. There's no positive factors in the marketplace that I can point to show why there's so much activity. But at this moment, I've got 7 listings that are either under contract or about to be under contract. I only have 8 listings total. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that we're going to have a great year, but we may not start the year out with a lot of quality inventory on the shelf. So I'm working on that. That's one aspect. I'm seeing that seller motivation is higher than normal. I think it might be related to concerns about future performance as it might relate to a recession. All the things that we need to have a recession are there, but I think with the Fed and interest rates, we can avert that or avoid that. Better word. Our industry it's chaotic, right, Joe? I mean,
yeah, it's funny, Jeff, because I've been saying for 2.5 years, I don't know if I'm ever going to sell another business. I'm like, I don't know where it's coming from, right? Like normally I kind of got a view and a vision. I can get a pulse for how many new listings I'm going to have. I can get a pulse for where the inquiries are coming from. Now I don't seem to know. We're selling stuff, but you don't seem to be able to predict where that's coming from. It really is a completely different environment.
But you still have people that want to retire, business owners that want to retire,
Or
and you
have to.
still or have to, and you still have business owners that are just tired.
Yep.
So that market's always going to be there, right?
Well, and this kind of economy will create more burnout clients, to your point, because they are as frustrated as we are.
I want to piggyback on both of your comments because I am dead on with you. So the majority of my clients are past retirement age. And I think that's because, again, I'll go back to .com, subprime, COVID. Those business owners said, I'm committed to hang on for another year to get my numbers back to where they were. But then it took 2 years and 3 years. Maybe they got them back. Maybe they got them close. There was some improvement. But then we had the next pandemic or macroeconomic issue. And they said, I can get this back in 1 year. But then it took 2, and then it took 3. And for some of my older clients, they've been through this 3 times. And they're like, I have one client who told me literally, Jeff, I trust you as an advisor and negotiator. You know the industry, all that kind of good stuff. Negotiate the best deal that you can. And if you tell me you would sign it, I will sign it.
Right. And
they're ready to move on. We can't keep having these 1 year good periods with 2 to 3 year bad periods trying to catch up.
Right. And I want people to hear this because, Jeff, the fact that a client is telling you that they trust you with one of their largest investments is a big deal because these are small business people that literally, and I've said this before, would do their own brain surgery if they had a big enough mirror, right? So the fact that they are trusting us to do the best we can is saying a lot about the pressure and the burnout that they've been through over the years.
So, Joe, let me ask you a question. What are you seeing in, and this is kind of a tease because I know because we're in the same company and we work in the same CRM system, but what are you seeing on Main Street with sellers' flexibility on multiples and buyers' interest in acquisitions?
Yeah, here's what's happening. They want to try and get the big number, but they're ready to negotiate. They are ready for the lower number. They just can't start with the lower number. I have to prove to them that the market's not there, right?
So tell me what you think of this. This is not a buyer's market, in my opinion. And realize, as Joe pointed out earlier for the listeners, I'm more of a lower middle market guy than a Main Street guy. I have multiple listings under $1 million, but they're kind of different environments. But on the Main Street, are you seeing that buyers are trying to be advantageous in this market? Because I don't believe it's a buyer's market, but sellers are being more flexible. I'm seeing that. Are you seeing that also on the Main Street?
Well, let me answer it like this, and I try and tell this to clients. Listen, thanks. We got a minute, Jeff. The buyers only are interested in something that they think will work in cash flow, or they're gone. They don't want to negotiate, right? They're either in or out. It's not like buying a home where you have to have a place to live. You don't have to own that business. And so when you're defining these small business buyers, they're fickle. You know, they're each one of them has their own personal motivations, and it either connects or misses. And if it misses, they're just simply going to say, thanks, but no thanks, I'm moving on. And they're going to force the seller to either adapt or, in most cases, wait till the next offer comes because that person is gone. We got to take a break and we'll come back. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. We're talking about buying and selling small business here. Please go to ENLIGN Business Brokerage. Take a look at the website. You are talking with 2 exceptional brokers and a painful IT man. We'll be right back.
Jeff, we're still live on Facebook.
But we're on break.
Yeah.
Okay. So Joe and James, I'd really like to. This is not my radio show, but I'm going to act like it.
Go right ahead. That's what we let you do here.
I'd really like to come back and talk about what industries are hot, because IT is one of them.
Okay. I'm all ears. I'm all headphones on this.
Well, we could do some of that when we come back, actually.
Yeah.
So you've got a.
I do. I have a kind of a game show type approach to ask you both 7 questions.
Oh, you want to do that? Okay, let's do that.
Well,
okay.
we can do that. Or we can do that, or we can dig into what Jeff wants first.
No. Let's do your silly.
Whatever James thinks is most interesting, we'll lead with, and if time allows, we can follow on.
Well, I have 2 people that are in an industry that I'm not in, that I love, because that's where my brain should be. That's where every business owner's brain should be.
Just so you know, Jeff, he did this thinking he'd pit us against each other and it would be a problem. And I said, man, Jeff's not going to have any problem arguing with me. That's not going to happen. Go right ahead. It's not going to work.
But Joe said, "Oh no, we're 2 different leagues. That's like racing Bush League against." And I was like, "Oh no."
He thought I was prepping myself for when I got beat up on. That's what he thought.
I'm not feeling too well today. I don't know if I'll perform my fullest.
Joe and I are like a divorced couple with no kids. We want to go out to dinner once in a while, but we're not sleeping together.
Very good. Very good.
This is why you want to be on the Facebook feed.
That's right.
That's right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Jeff, just so you know, Julie put ENLIGN website on the Facebook link out there, just so you know that.
I appreciate that. I'm sure you do too. Thank you, Julie. We need to talk about Julie for a little bit. You talk about a workhorse. I communicate with Julie more than I communicate with Joe, because Julie actually does work.
I don't know what she gets paid, but
well, I can assure you it's not enough. Because if my only job was working with Joe.
All right, guys, 15 seconds.
I'll tell you what's rough is that they both see each other email all day long. That's 2 people looking at every email. I'm like, what in the world? How do they keep track of each other like that? That's
on
crazy.
105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. This is the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina. We're coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, and instead of me saying it, fire it up, Wilton.
From rescuing lives to rescuing your senses, I'm Josh Johnson, and Burner Cigar is a go-to escape for relaxation. Let the aroma and flavor of our cigars rescue your senses from the everyday hustle. Experience a new level of unwind.
Why are you laughing?
That is awesome.
Okay, for those of you that can't see this, right, and you're on live radio, I am holding up a sign that says, "This cigar is on Joe." The truth is, we've got a promotion going. If you go by Burner Cigars, hold up one of these signs, put it on your social media. That cigar is on me. And so please go on by there, hold up one of these cigar signs. They all say little silly things. The one I'm holding up now, if you're live on the radio, said, "This cigar is on Joe." There's some other ones. I'm holding this stupid cigar to get a free, this stupid sign to get a free cigar from Joe.
You know that Arturo Fuente has some cigars that are so expensive it would justify me driving down to Charlotte.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
Jeff, tomorrow night is Tuesday night at Burner Cigar in Birkdale, and it's Bourbon Tuesday. So people show up with their bottles of favorite stuff, and everybody sits around and everybody shares and everybody smokes a cigar together.
That's exactly
Why
right.
don't you bring in some cocktail waitresses and the place will be overflowing?
We're a little bit less formal than that, just so you know that.
But it is BYOB.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's a brown bag, and they do allow that. But I'm glad you brought that up, because it is the experience of going in the lounge. There are plenty of people that will tell you what they think is a good cigar for you if you don't do a lot of smoking. If you're a regular smoker, believe me, I promise you, all you got to do is walk in there and say, what's new? And they'll give you a list of what that is. Please go on by there and talk to them. Talk to Josh, Burners Cigar in Birkdale and on Highway 16 in Denver. We appreciate you stopping by. And I
With a
really
third
appreciate
location
Josh.
coming.
Say what?
With a third location coming.
Thank you. With the third location coming, and Josh Burners, thank you so much for being a strong supporter of Local Biz Now. We appreciate it.
You know what else I like about Burners? They constantly have something new, limited time. So I don't get stuck in the same spot, smoking the same thing over and over and over again. There's always something new there to try.
That's right.
So that's kind of fun. That's very fun to me.
So you, James,
yes, me,
would
James,
like to ask me and Jeff some questions.
Yeah.
Am I understanding this correctly?
That's correct.
Before we do
He's
this,
going to count us down.
Let me set. That's right. Let me set this up. Okay. First of all, James, please remind everybody what shared resource technology is all about.
We are an IT solutions provider.
Okay. And Jeff, please remind everybody what ENLIGN Business Advisor is all about.
We help lower middle market and Main Street business owners sell when they need or want to. But I think we need to go back to James because he so minimized what they do. I come from this industry. When you're in IT, my differentiator when I was in the market was if it has an electric cord and it doesn't make coffee, it's on me. You're not going to have the hardware people pointing to the software people, pointing to the internet people, pointing to the web hosting people. I'm your guy. And I know what he does today is exponentially harder. What his company provides is exponentially harder today than it was 21 years ago when I left the industry. So I want to give props to James and his company because I do have an IT company. It's listed for sale. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. But I've gotten reinvigorated into how difficult this space is and how technical the backup options are. It's just incredibly technical. And he's right. When you're not a Fortune 500, you're not even lower middle market, you can't pay $35,000 a year for a full-time IT support person. Companies like his fill that gap, solve that problem, and prevent issues that can cost you your business, actually, because he may not be as overt in saying this as I am, but there was a statistic that I heard years ago that 60 to 70% of companies that experienced a data loss went out of business within 12 months. So it's not just being effective and efficient and secure. It's really about protecting the enterprise value of the entire business, which kind of ties back to what you and I do, Joe, is that if somebody called you and said, we just had a security breach and XYZ has happened, they become unsellable. Well, what James and his company does is prevent that from happening, or at least to the extent that it can possibly be prevented.
And Jeff, to your point with James, if you knew him like I know him and realize how intelligent and sharp he is, and you see how much he's charging for the services that he provides, I can assure you, you wouldn't try and do that in-house even if you could, right?
Some of my favorite clients are, and easy clients to get, are someone who recently had a data breach. Their previous IT guy, or they try to do it themselves in-house. Yeah, that's easy. That's an easy target there. And easy to feel like Superman when I walk away. I also really enjoy helping mid-market companies because even if they have an IT person on staff, they can't keep up like a crew of IT people. We just can't do it all, know it all.
And maybe even more importantly, they can't keep up. Technology changes so rapidly. I can remember I was interviewing a salesperson from Productivity Point, which was back in the day was a software training company. And he said, I understand the software, I understand the hardware, but I don't understand networking and all this other stuff. And I said, don't worry about it because everything changes every 90 days. And in a quarter, you'll know everything I do. And that's been 20 years hence. So just imagine how much things have changed and they continue to change, and they will probably continue to change at a higher or more rapid rate than they have. So, yeah, outsourced IT. I don't know. Even if lower
it
middle
really
market,
is the answer for small and mid-sized business. It really
it's
is.
a no-brainer. No-brainer. You talked earlier about buffing floors on the weekends when you own restaurants. There are a lot of small business people out there who are trying to learn about security on the weekends to protect themselves, to try to keep up with government regulations, or just to hope to not go out of business when the breach happens.
and
Don't
what
do
they
it. Call James. Don't do it. So, okay. So I set that up because, Jeff, I want you to know these questions. I have no idea what he's going to ask, right?
Joe, have you and I ever met?
One of the smartest men I know is James Sanders, and the smartest man I have ever worked with is Jeff Snell. So you two are now placing me in a situation where you want me to ask and answer questions in a competing. Am I understanding this correctly? This is a competitive question and answer scenario.
I entitled the first section of this "The Broker Showdown."
Okay.
Broker
okay.
Showdown.
I love it.
Yes.
Let's go, brother.
Okay, let's go.
We have
I'm ready.
If I lose this, I'll turn in my certification. No, but I think I'm a great debater, and I think I have a little bit more stage presence than some of our presidential candidates.
Okay, James, hit it. I'm ready.
7
I'm
questions.
ready. And Jeff, just in defense, I have no idea where this is headed now.
He has
You
not
understand?
All right, well, I've got one debate rule because we
Okay.
know debate rules are always important.
Okay.
I get to answer second.
Okay.
Okay,
Julie said, I got your back. Okay,
All
go.
right. First
I go
question.
first.
In 2 sentences or less, what's your success rate in selling businesses over the past year?
I'm going to say it's around 22 to 27%.
Jeff?
So of actively listed businesses, I'm going to be right there, or well, I think mathematically it's actually flat out 20.
Very good. Very good. All right. Question number 2.
And that 7%, believe me, it's tough because I do a lot of financing of my brokerage fees and stuff to try and get right. Well, Jeff wouldn't even. I mean,
you roll over.
His toes curl when he hears that, right? But it's the only way I can get some of these smaller deals done, right? So
you don't take your chunk on the way out?
No, almost.
Well, he takes his pound of flesh, but he doesn't take
that's right.
contingent payments and all
It is
that.
much harder to get because the cash isn't there to do it is the problem.
Question number 2. Joe, how do you determine the right asking price for a business?
Well, that's
2 sentences.
We do a detailed review analysis, and I will come up with a mid-average range, and I've been within 5% in the last, 10, 12 years.
Awesome. Jeff?
All right, I think that was a run-on sentence, but values are based on a multiple of earnings defined by seller discretionary earnings, or EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
That's a sentence. Joe.
Can I bank my second one?
No, you may not. Joe, what's the biggest mistake you see business owners make when they try to sell on their own?
Yeah, first of all, they try and get too much money up front. They're looking for buyers that have.
I'm gonna have to mute you at that point. That was 2 sentences. Jeff,
you are just no.
He is a great moderator.
He is the. He is no good for nothing.
I'm a great moderator. That's the first sentence from Jeff.
I've got to craft a 1-sentence answer that I keep talking from this comment, which would be the biggest mistake that sellers make is they do not have the relationships with transaction counsel, accountants, and lenders to get the deal done.
Very, very. I'm assuming that's very accurate.
We've only got about 30 seconds.
I got you. How long does it take typically to sell a business in the current market?
I'm going to say 115 days, depending on the industry. It could be well over 24 months.
Awesome. We'll be back.
We'll be back, Jeff.
Your business matters.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
On the Facebook break, I got to bust your balls.
Can
What's
he say
going
balls?
on with the car wash?
Can he say balls on Facebook?
He just did.
It's basketball. It's baseball.
Wilton, the board operator, just went, I guess he can.
What is going on with the car wash?
Oh my gosh, that is
no specifics. Careful, these people are out there listening.
That's right. We have a buyer that Julie has been working with that is the most painful buyer.
Hey, he could be listening. Come on. He's just doing his own due diligence. What I'm saying is there has been over 1,000 inquiries on this business.
We have a buyer that wants both car washes and has made both owners feel like he is capable, qualified to buy the business. And Julie has been telling the sellers for months, I don't trust him. I don't like him. I'm not sure. I don't know about this. But he has sold the sellers on the fact that he can do this. So to answer your question, we got a guy that is just literally yanking the chain of our buyers.
What kind of finances is he looking for?
Both of them
seller
are completely
finances?
Different.
Oh, okay, different. Okay.
One of them seller financing. The other one, he's going to the bank and get the money. Oh, I'm telling you.
I love this guy.
Oh, I'm telling you, he is when I spoke with him, Jeff, just 2 days ago.
1 minute.
He said to me, no problem, bro. I got this, bro. We're going to make this work, bro. Trust me, bro. It's going to work, bro. I mean, when he talks to you, you're like, okay, it's going to work. We're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then I haven't heard from him for 3 days.
What I'm trying to tell you is if I had $1 for every email that I had seen about the car wash, I could have bought it myself.
That's an idea. Maybe we should start charging for NDAs.
$1.
You're on
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
You're on to something.
We're coming live in about 20 seconds, Jeff.
I'll be on.
While supplies last. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now more Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Bagnone. I'm here with Jeff Snell, founder of ENLIGN Business Brokerage, and James Sanders, founder of Shared Resources Technology. And James has put Jeff and I into a broker test that we have been going through. James, we'll let you take it from here after you answer this one question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
If it is Monday afternoon, what happens?
Your business matters.
Yeah, okay, take it
He's
away.
getting royalty for that.
All right, Jeff, are you still game with some more?
Yeah, I'm down.
I got a couple more of this format, and then I have some true false.
Okay. Do I got to keep doing the 2 minute thing? I mean, the two
sentences. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. We don't have much time.
I got a hard time doing
Joe,
2 sentences.
Joe, what's your approach to vetting potential buyers?
Oh, that's easy. Julie. Everybody needs a Julie. Julie has perfected it. We use systems, processes. Most of them are through email questionnaires that we use. Julie has become, I believe, one of the best in the state at qualifying by. She will tell me.
You don't need to say best in the state.
Jeff,
she's one of the best.
Yeah, Jeff, do you have a Julie?
I don't have a Julie. I have been told that I am the biggest fool in the industry by some of the best in the industry for not having a virtual assistant. But I don't. Right. My answer is the same as Joe's when it comes to qualification. We have a very detailed NDA process, which includes qualification questions to make sure they can get through the SBA process and all that type of stuff. But that's a key part of what we do.
But I will tell you, Jeff's qualification is different than mine. Jeff's qualification is a little bit of experience, and they got the money. small business, it really is about the passion, the experience to be able to make it through the process of buying. I mean, I tell people all the time, the process of buying the business is what prepares you for ownership. It really is a completely different process.
All right. Joe, what's the most unusual or challenging business sale you've ever handled? Ever?
I sold many years ago. There were 13, they were called Mind Boggle arcades inside all of the major malls in the area. I bought it on a Friday and sold every one of them to the managers on Monday.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was an exceptional deal, except my wife worked for the company that happened to, and it got her in trouble.
Jeff?
that they didn't realize that there was a little bit of equity between that deal.
Jeff, what's the most unusual, challenging business sale you've ever handled?
You know, I like to say every transaction has hair on it. There's no perfect transaction. There's no perfect acquisition. So I don't want to point to a specific issue, but I like to say the more complex a transaction is, the more interested I am in participating in it, because my joy is found in finding solutions to complex problems. And I don't mean complex like, well, he wants you to park in that parking spot and make this one reserved for the seller. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about really financially complex, legally complex issues that both buyer and seller are wanting to resolve, don't know how to resolve, but that I can potentially assist with counsel to find positive outcomes.
And I'll tell you, this really does define the difference between Jeff. Keep in mind, I don't think I said this, but Jeff Snell is the former president of IBBA, which is International Business Broker Association, the largest broker association in the world, and Jeff was the president of that. So this guy knows his stuff, right? Mm-hmm. When he talks about this, he's talking about the financial side, right? When I do it, it's the emotional side for these small business people.
Well,
it's the same problem solved, but it's a different kind of problem.
Well, that brings us to our bonus lightning round.
Okay.
These are true or false, and I'll go back and forth between the two of you. Joe, I'll start with you. At a valuation of at least 5% of the price, you value intangible assets like brand reputation and customer relationships.
I don't understand the question.
Do you feel that intangible assets like brand reputation and customer relationships is worth 5%?
Oh, yeah, it could be worth more.
So I say no. Typically in my transactions, it's 30% or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's the value of the brand.
He said no, but he was really agreeing with me. Let me be clear.
He's saying
he was
no,
trying to
5
nab
is
me.
not enough.
That's right.
5 is not
enough.
enough.
What he should have said is, exactly, Joe was right. All right.
Well, if Joe was my wife, that's how I would have responded.
Joe, you always encounter at least one red flag when evaluating a business for sale.
Yeah.
One?
All right. Well, that leads me into...
It's not his turn. He wasn't allowed.
All right.
Asked and answered.
Jeff,
Jeff, that's right. Jeff's right. Most of my deals, there might be 5.
Jeff, we're going to lead with
you. There's 5 red flags at closing. Those are the ones that you emotionally got them past.
That's right.
Well, what in the world? You guys don't get this all taken care of before we get to closing?
No. But I got to massage
the buyers and sellers get all worked up and cause problems?
A lot of my deals are deals that other brokers could not work with. So I already know the problems. So I'm looking for a buyer profile that is willing to overcome or has a solution to that problem.
And a seller mentality that's willing to adjust.
That's correct. What Jeff does is look for the buyer who's got cash and it's a good, solid business where you're trying to maximize the value, and it's about numbers and financing. I got to really sell a buyer on the fact that he can do these 4 things and correct 4 out of the 5 red flags.
All right.
And while a lot of this, I'm sorry to step on you, James, but while a lot of this sounds like hyperbole, what Joe is doing in identifying these areas of opportunity to the buyer to emotionally get them to a point to commit to the transaction works out. Joe's not selling pipe dreams. he is able to analyze the real facts as identified by the seller, put them in perspective, communicate them effectively to a buyer and a lender to show this is a path to success. And Joe, if you want to disagree with me, certainly do, because you're the arbiter of all these transactions. But in the vast majority of cases, you're right.
Yeah, there are voids in a lot of small business owners, and those voids are really what I sell off of. I tell clients all the time, don't hold back the mistakes that you made or things you wish you would have done, because that's what we sell off of.
Gotcha.
Tell the buyer, be glad the company doesn't have a website.
That's right.
What an opportunity that is.
Right.
That's
correct. That's absolutely correct.
That they don't have a CRM system, or that they're not using QuickBooks or NetSuite or an equivalent. Be glad that there's deficiencies in this business, because you're not paying for those deficiencies. You get to pay for the core operating asset and then build upon it more rapidly than you would, because who wants to buy a perfect business?
That's right. Yeah. He's absolutely correct. I will tell you, in this day and age, it's getting harder and harder, because the millennials, they don't want that, right? They want the home already done. They want the home.
They want turnkey, they want ready to go.
They want the business, already cash flowing. The problem is, if you don't have the cash, you're going to have to come up with the energy.
Which brings us to our next question, Jeff. Seller financing, SBA loans, conventional bank loans, these are all still financing options that you typically see buyers using in today's market. True or false?
Partially true.
Partially true. What don't you like about that?
So I didn't like the conventional financing. I've only had one buyer in memorable history that qualified for a conventional loan without an SBA guarantee. SBA guarantees are essentially, SBA guarantee, this could be a whole nother podcast, but SBA guarantees are capped at $5 million of loan value. So when we start looking at $7 million plus transactions, you're outside of the SBA world, and you've got to be more creative and use different tools and go to different financing sources. But SBA, Joe, unless it's a cash deal because it's SBA unattractive, have you done any conventional?
No. I was going to say, for me, owner financing is probably 90% of what I do. SBA, what people need to understand, SBA is actually buying insurance so that when the finance company, the bank, loans you money, if you don't pay, the government's going to pay you back. And
they're going to pay the lender back.
They're going to pay the lender back. That's right. That's right.
Like mortgage insurance.
But it's like a souped up.
I got you.
Actually, it's not souped up, because it's not as good as PMI, because PMI covers the entire principal amount if in the event of a default, whereas SBA currently only covers 75% of the then outstanding principal amount of the acquisition loan. During COVID, it was 90%. These numbers do move around, but
do you
the
like
reason the bank is never going? I won't say never. I need to walk that back. The reason that banks do not do conventional business acquisition financing is because SBA guarantees are free to them.
Right.
The buyer
That's exactly right.
all those fees. So all the lender has to do is say, this doesn't fit our internal policy guidelines on conventional lending. We're going to go to SBA, and then the buyer pays all that.
That's correct. I have one more question, and then we're cutting close on time.
We've only got about a minute left.
Jeff, true or false? Technology has changed the business brokerage industry in recent years, affecting valuation of businesses by over 10%. So businesses should contact James at Shared Resources, SRONC.com, for your technology needs so that you're best prepared to sell your company.
True or false?
True or false?
Well, I would normally humorously respond yes, but it's absolutely true. The fact of the matter is that IT, and I'm going to say AI because that just put this show's ratings through the roof.
That's right.
But those elements, along with the technological risk and security risk, it is beyond insurance. It's in my opinion, a necessity. And I'm not.
We got to go.
You heard Jeff. He endorsed me.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. Say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
So James, when you're ready to sell, are you calling me or Joe?
Oh, that's it. I guess it